and welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host for today, Nikki. Thursday Lines is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Punting Form and The Comics Lounge. I've got MG in the studio with me today. How are you, MG?
Nikki, you're back 2 weeks in a row. You've
super happy.
tell you what, you've left OB in your dust, you have. Not letting him back into the studio, I hear.
No. He's going to have to suck up pretty big to get back in, I think, you know.
Poor OB. He's on the outer. You take a week off and all of a sudden you...
Mate, you take an inch, I'm going to...
The replacement plays well and you can't get back on the team. That's how it goes, Toprope, don't you? You don't leave your open chair because someone else will warm it.
Absolutely. The Wally preview of the podcast played the last game before Lou Gehrig broke the record and played 23 hours straight. So good luck to you, Wally.
What a week in sport, Nikki.
Yep, exactly. It just it was been a big week. Probably for me, I thought Wimbledon final was one of the best you're ever going to see, and obviously we got the Women's World Cup kicking off, which is just great for women's sport.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you measure the weeks in order of sport, but this week coming up, or
huge.
We've already started as one of the biggest week on the calendar. I would have thought with the as you said, the Women's World Cup starting. British Open, which we'll touch with Toprope in a sec with the golf. The cricket started again last night for the fourth test. Full slate back with both AFL and NRL this week. So, there is plenty to discuss.
Plenty to discuss and lots of odds that you can find at TopSport. Okay, let's get right into it. Can you give me some AFL news? What's going?
Yeah, well, the AFL round 18 was a bit of a case of the good, the bad and the ugly. Yes. So we'll discuss that during the results. But, there was probably the game of the year was seen early on the Friday night between Melbourne and Brisbane. And, but geez, I tell you what, the Sunday fixtures are a lot to be desired. That was some ugly football. But, other than that, outside that, obviously I think the unfortunate news of Melbourne, we obviously pride ourselves on our sporting events and stuff. Now, Premier's let us down again with the pulling out of the Commonwealth Games we just discussed before we started the show. What a disaster for obviously Victoria and Australia, and it's not a good look, and very disappointing from the so-called captain of the state. What a disaster.
And for the athletes that use that as obviously I read a lot of statements from athletes and just some comments saying that it's really a stepping stone to the Olympics, and they use that, and, a lot of time goes into the Com Games, and I think even as just a general Victorian, you're like, well, how did this happen? Like, how do you say, yes, I want it, and then you turn around and go, no, I'm sorry, I don't want it. But given that that's 2 in a row now, because I think it happened with Birmingham as well. Not sure where that stands. Toprope, you think it's cooked, don't you?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you'd never say this in New South Wales. You'd never say it in the state of PVL. Wouldn't publicly humiliate ourselves and the nation like this. Absolute disgrace. Like,
PVL, he'd just be dipping into his own back pocket going, how can I fund it?
The Commonwealth Games would be 2 sports. It would be horse racing and rugby league. I think we could all agree. That sounds like a pretty positive future plan for the Commonwealth Games. In all seriousness, like the Commonwealth Games, and to be honest, the Olympic Games have been teetering in the last probably decade or two in terms of relevance and their culture. I remember growing up and when I was in Sydney at the Games, the number of countries that were bidding on these things. I think the last 2 Olympics have had a single bidder. Commonwealth Games, you can't remember who calls a bidder, they just accepted it. And for the second in 3, I mean, it's 2 in a row. That they've been handed off. So, I don't think that this will be the end of the Commonwealth Games, in its entirety, but I think we're going to see a very much scaled back version in the near future. And I also think it'll be incumbent on the Commonwealth Games Federation to look into some of the politics around, like Victoria, try and give this to regional centres where the cost, have a huge potential of totally unnecessary costs of you can blame it on the Commonwealth Games. This is all dead end and Victoria's fault. There's no need. Melbourne's pretty well catered for in terms of having it. But there's no reason why you can't take a sport or two out to regional Victoria, but why you would be trying to build such significant housing out in big stadiums, utterly ridiculous.
I agree. And we've got the British Open kicking off tonight. How exciting. Cam Smith, defending champ. But you didn't tip him in the show yesterday, did you?
No, I didn't tip Cam. Not putting a line through Cam, but very, very concerned. You have to be accurate at the tee. There are, I think, 6 the out of bounds in course, out of bounds, mainly on the right. So it wouldn't suit my massive slice, but Cam is pretty inaccurate off the tee for a long period of time. So I think that's going to be dangerous. Plus, it is Skin made a good point yesterday, so very, very difficult to get back to back as well. So no Cam sets for. I think he'll have a good tournament, but can't aim at the top there. In terms of Australians, there's a lot of contenders. There's a big push from Minwoo Lee this week. Adam Scott as well, former champion. But I was having a little bit on top Australian when I say when. It'll be Lucas Herbert, $13 off. Got to get the good draw, the early late draw, I think will be the way to go. And he has a very good links form.
MG, who do you like? Because you're not a bad golfer. You're a decent golfer.
During the week, you can spend a lot of time looking for the golf ball, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't mind. I'm actually just going to have something on Hovland, Victor Hovland.
Oh, I love his outfits.
Going to be my go. I know he's not one of the boys' fancies, but you're just getting away from the top three. What's the top rope? Well, I got you. I know you did a podcast yesterday. If anyone wants to check it out, Little Birdie viewers, it's actually very funny. I did watch it yesterday, so the boys put up a bit of a comedy show. But why is the drift on Rahm? I see he's gone out. He was about $9 or $10. Now he's out to 13, 14 range.
Yeah, so interesting on Rahm. We've kind of seen Scheffler kind of trending pretty consistently and Rory trending upwards. Pick on the strokes gain metrics over the last 3 to 4 months. We've seen Rahm probably drop a shot. Rahm's strokes gained since his Masters win has fallen from 3.2 around to 2.2. So probably not playing at the super elite level he was. But having said that, you look at the prices, I'd rather have Rahm than any of those other three. Any of those other two, sorry. Like he's getting into a very, very backward price. I know that he was Dogger's selection yesterday, and I kind of had him marked as a contender, probably too short. If we can kind of get to $14 to $15 about him, I very much think he is worth it. He's won the links courses. His Europeans have a very nice have a very nice record in the Open Championship. So I think it's getting a bit silly on Rory and Scheffler, and the Rahm price is getting very, very tempting.
Okay, bit of value for both of you there. All right, I'm going to watch that. I can't wait to watch that podcast. Okay, shall we get into some AFL?
So last week, it always feels like a long time ago when we do these, but
last Thursday.
We actually started the week with a couple of close encounters. One was better than the other in terms of standards, but on Thursday night, Sydney got the job done over the Western Bulldogs by 2 points. Could have gone either way. One of the games of the year, if not the game of the year so far, was third v fourth, Melbourne getting the job done. Brisbane led by 4 goals with 7 minutes to go and somehow didn't manage to win the game. So their poor record at the MCG continues, unfortunately, and they'll have to wait till the finals now to rectify that. Collingwood smashed Fremantle as expected there. They're just too good at the MCG. Gold Coast, it was good money for them. St Kilda, again, they're the worst side in the 8 at the moment. They don't think they will finish in the finals, and they got beaten soundly by Gold Coast in a very ordinary match. Professional throw of the year, Toprope. You would have loved this. Carlton were off the map. Port Adelaide must have paid for their end-of-season trip. There's no other way to put it up and about. They came in with a 13-game winning streak, and that was they debacle. They did not try, didn't put in an effort. Carlton got a massive victory, but how there's not an inquiry into that, to be honest, fair income. Geelong absolutely smashed Essendon, disappointing. I think if you check last week's podcast, someone might have tipped Geelong pretty strongly to beat your Bombers, and you weren't having any of it. Didn't see too many texts from you during the game. It was over very quickly. 47 points to 1, Toprope was the first quarter score there. So Nikki, by the time she sat down after dinner, that was done and dusted. And the Giants got an important victory against Adelaide away from home. Adelaide were very disappointing. They're right on the nose at the moment. And the Sunday 2 games, let's talk about them less the better, because they were disgraceful. Hawthorn smashed the Kangaroos 16th v 17th, and Richmond got the job done over West Coast.
Thanks, MG. Okay, let's have a look at some round 18 stats. All right. So we've got 7 out of 9 faves, 5 of 9 covers, 4 of 9 over totals, and 6 out of 9 for the home teams. And for the season, we sit at 66% faves, 49% covers, 53% over totals and 54% for the home team.
Yeah, you can see we're probably getting around that mark. We've talked about it a few times this year. The favourites generally run at 70%. Is probably the break-even, I guess, mark for punters or things. So that's getting very close. And you can see the covers and the totals are really evening up as the year goes on. The home team's probably down a little. But yeah, other than that, the stats are probably running pretty true overall after 18 rounds.
Thanks, MG. All right, let's go to some NRL top rope. Walk me through it.
Yeah, we had the Knights beat the Tigers 34 and in a pretty low game there. Tigers, bit stiff, some refereeing decisions in that one, but late try saw the Knights cover the 10.5 start in that one. Broncos smashed the Bulldogs at Belmore 44-24. I got the young fella up to that one, 6-year-old, and thoroughly enjoyed Belmore, but he was appalled by the lackluster defence from Canterbury, who are now conceding 44 points a game over their last 5. Cowboys beat the City Hills 19-8 in a fairly doing affair. Storm smashed the Roosters at the SCG 36. Final score flooded the Chooks there. A couple of late ones, but Storm absolutely smashed them in the second half. Big trouble for the Chooks. For some reason, Tedeschi. Warriors thumped the Sharks 40-12. They were diabolical. Cronulla and continue their diabolical running against top 8 teams where they have an appalling record. Panthers stuck home against the Dolphins 24-14, despite resting all their players. Dolphins covered a big start there. And the Eels beat the Titans 25-24 in an utterly disgraceful result for pretty much gifted the game by a referee, Chris Butler, and the referee there. Try that shouldn't have been awarded, given no offside ruling for 4 players who were clearly in front of the kicker off attempted field goal attempt. Pretty badly refereed down from the worst referee in the pot there. But close round to the Eels. Now Titans need to keep winning to play last week.
Thanks, Toprope. Oh my God, I love the ref comments. Okay, let's go look at the bookie wrap. So we've got 7 out of 7 faves, 5 of 7 covers, 4 of 7 over totals, 3 of 7 home teams. And for this season, we sit at 66% of faves, 47% of covers, 49% over totals, and 56% for the home team.
Yeah, the way this is tracking, favourites are winning, favourites are covering. So that's where this is the kind of back end of the season's really coming into form. We're certainly seeing a lot more errors as well. So what you take out of it is you probably need to find more of a reason to back an under, more of a reason to back a plus. So first inclination should be on a minus than on another.
Thanks, Toprope. Okay, let's have a quick wrap of some global wrap sport. I know we've already covered the golf, but the cricket kicked off last night, the 4th test.
Yeah, Aussie sent into bat. Pretty even, Stevens. 8 for 299 was the first day. So, yeah, very important test match. I think there's some weather around, so it's going to be, going to be pretty tough. And obviously England need to win to keep the series alive. So, yeah, it's all part of a very big week in sport.
And we'll just quickly touch on Wimbledon because obviously Djokovic lost in an absolutely thrilling final. Absolutely thrilling.
Yeah, that's how you want to see the finals coming out.
Yeah.
Obviously, for the men's, we said that all the way through the betting. The 2 favourites stood out as whether Alcaraz could stand up against Djokovic. It was number 1 v number 2 in the world. Djokovic obviously going for a piece of history of 24 majors. But 5 sets of high quality tennis and an amazing final. And for a young kid, he's the world's youngest number 1 to already have 2 majors under his belt. Basically, it's them two holding up the whole men's sport at the moment of tennis.
I'd agree with you there. Okay, and quickly on the cycling, the Tour de France, what have we got? Vingegaard, 101.
Yeah, surely all over last night. Yeah, he opened up a big lead, 7.5 minutes in front now, so he'll just travel all the way into Paris and he'll go back to back.
Oh, wee Paddy. Okay, and then the Women's Soccer World Cups, we've got USA $3.50, Spain $5.30, England $5.60 and Germany $9. Was that your hot tip last week, Toprope? You said Germany for the women?
Oh, well, yeah, as a natural soccer film, I've tipped Germany for the women's. I'm just searching now about either soccer or the women's World Cup. A great friend, Brad Gray, took in the last 2 World Cups, and he really is a sports bet, so can you invest 3 in a row?
All right, $9, not a bad bet in Australia.
I think from last week, Australia have just tightened a little from 11 into $10, but also Spain have now gone in front of England for second overall in the betting. So there's been a few changes in the last week lead up to it. Yeah, so
we'll look forward to a really good tournament there. Okay, now it is time for Thursday Lines, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Let's get straight to some AFL Premiership prices, MG.
Yeah, Collingwood has continued to firm. It's not theirs to lose by any stretch. There's a lot of football to be played. It's still 6 weeks to go, but obviously they're going to probably finish on top now, and they're going to have to. Teams are going to have to come through and beat them on the MCG, which have been other than the close loss to Melbourne. So they're very, very strong. Not much between the next, I guess, 4 overall. They'll probably jump around a bit, and then you can see a big gap out to Carlton and the Bulldogs, who the bottom half of the 8 will just be making up the numbers more or less. So, Collingwood, very, very strong favourites at this stage.
Well, if you were on them early in the year, you'd be absolutely happy right now. But you're still happy with your Brisbane?
Yes, Brisbane, well, they're going to have to come to the MCG and win it, but they got the side to do it. But, it's hard to get away from Collingwood at this stage.
Well, I know one person will be very happy to hear that. All right, let's have a look at some round 18. How'd you go? We've got 3 of 7. Oh.
Yeah, no, not the best week. There was some closest results. Like, you win some, you lose some kind of thing. But just couldn't get going. Kind of got a win, got a loss, got a win, got a loss, and then finished out down 5. So. It's now dropped below the plus 10% as well. So
only just below.
Going to have to hit back this week, but geez, it's finding it hard to find some good bets in round 19 compared to round 18. So just going to have to dig a little deeper and be a bit patient. But not the best week. I think it's the 4th or 5th losing week for the year so far. So I have to hit back this week.
Oh, you're going to hit back. I know you will. Just follow the stings and you get the tips. All right, let's have a quick look at some NRL Premiership prices. Oh, the Panthers. Toprope, walk me through it.
Oh, sickening. Penrith just firmly at the top there. No one's really challenging them. Melbourne were very impressive last week. With Pappenhausen potentially back, we could see them kind of make a run. I'd be laying the Broncos until your nosebleeds. I reckon they're severely overrated. I'd be backing them to miss the 4 at the moment. I don't know they smashed the Bulldogs last week. I don't think they're going to anything at all. That's a struggle there. Yeah, it's only South and the Cowboys on the fringe of the 8 there, but they're probably the Cowboys are the hottest team in the NRL, and the Rabbitohs finally get all their big guns back. They've had about a month where Origin, or they've got Latrell back, they've got Jayara back, Cody's back from Origin, Cam Murray's back from Origin, had a week off last week. You kind of think this is when they make their run. Yeah, and 2 teams to watch. Cowboys, obviously, very well, but outside there, I couldn't back on the price, but worth watching. And the Warriors, what a very easy run in. They're not hopeless. They're not without a chance to win the minor premiership. So you've got to think that $14 is maybe a touch for value, but really, it's hard to look past Penrith at the moment.
It's sickening to hear for all NRL fans, unless you go for Penrith. Okay, what did you get? 3 or 5 for the week? Walk me through that.
3 or 5 for the week. I think I can't have it just ahead, but maybe just behind there. And it was a couple of close front things. How unlucky it was that the Tigers, but the Tigers are a decent plus. And once again, they let us down late, a bit stiff with the refereeing there, but and also lost the over total in the Manly Cowboys game. I think might have been one of the few games that didn't go over for the weekend, so big thanks to the Cowboys and Seagulls for that one.
Oh, I love your commentary. Okay, punters, if you haven't signed up already, you need the GGO way and the AFL stinks, and you can get that in the Little Birdie live shop. All right, let's go straight to the AFL. Essendon and the Best Western Bulldogs, Friday night, $7.50. Bombers, $2.15. The Bulldogs, $1.67. The Lions, 5.5, and the over-under, 170.5.
Yeah, Friday night, back to Friday nights for this round, so no Thursday night game, please note. We've got 8th v 7th this week, so crucial for both teams. I think just with their draws going along, I think it's not an elimination final or anything like that with only 6 rounds to go. I think both of these sides with their draws will make the final 8. So it's obviously advantage if you do win this game. I don't think there's too much between them, both on 9 and 8 as a record. Both did lose last week, so they'll be looking to rebound. The early money's been for the Bulldogs. They opened 2.5 to 5.5 now, which I think's more about where it should be. So I think now it'd be a pretty competitive game. I think the total's about right to 168 to 170. So it's hard to find a play here. But on the stats, Bulldogs have won 8-1 against Essendon head-to-head, and they've covered 10-3. So they've got a dominant record over Essendon. Essendon can hang their hat on. They've won their last 4 at the Dome, so they do play that well. The query a bit on Essendon's off a 6-day break compared to an 8. Yep. They did come off a smashing against Geelong, whereas the Bulldogs probably could have easily just won the game against Sydney, has lost it. So I think the Bulldogs are going a little better at this stage. In terms of players, Phillips will come back in probably for Essendon and the ruck to help him out, and Smith should come back in for the Bulldogs. But yeah, I don't think there's too much in it, but I think it'll be a good game. One to watch for sure.
Some nice watching there on Friday night. Okay, all right. Now let's go straight to the Rabbitohs and the Broncos. Oh, you must be looking forward to this one on Friday, 8 o'clock. So we've got the Rabbitohs at $1.60, the Broncos $2.35. The line is 4.5, and the over under 45.5. Top rate.
Yeah, back in the bunnies, back in the part in this one. Really excited to see South back to full strength, or close to full strength here. Latrell back is obviously so important for them. But Sunshine Coast, neutral venue, close to Brisbane, obviously, but the bunnies just go so well as a favourite, and go well as an interstate favourite. Covered 40 or 60 as a favourite, 16 and 17 as the Spirits an interstate favourite. There's far and away the best interstate favourite record in the comp, just out of Melbourne, but well ahead of everybody else. They've got a great record off a loss. They've got a great record of scoring 30 plus. The Broncos covered just 3 as 9 as an underdog. I think Souths are a much better team. I think they're going to thump them here.
Oh, okay, I can't watch. This is some great Friday night watching. I'm going to have to switch between the two. KO will get a workout. Let's go straight to Port Adelaide and the Magpies. This really should be a good game, MG. Saturday, 7:40 game, $1.92 for Port Adelaide, $1.85 for Collingwood. No line, and the over-under 164.5. Can they bounce back, Port? Yes, they threw the game, you said.
Yeah, professional throw last week. I don't understand why, but yeah, second v first this week. So this one, been circled on the calendar for a while, definitely to see how they go up against each other and how they perform. I think advantage, obviously, Port Adelaide being at home, but some interesting stats here with Collingwood that they have won 7 straight at Adelaide Oval, so they have no fear going there at all. And even though Port have won 13 of the last 14, Collingwood have won 12 of the last 13. So these two sides are at their powers. Have won 14 and 15 games on the year. I just can't go against Collingwood at this stage in terms of they just keep turning up. They're a very consistent side. Now won 4 straight, and their only loss in basically 3 months has come to Melbourne at 4 points. They could have snuck away with that. So Collingwood have now won 27 of the last 30 games. As I said, 7 straight at Adelaide, so they hold no fears going in. They've covered six of their last 7, whereas Port haven't covered 1 and 6. So I think I'm going to stick with Collingwood. I think the market's come down a lot. So the week before, Collingwood was as much as +8 outsiders, and now they're slight favourites, which I think that's where they should be. There is a bit of weather around, so I'm going to stay out of the total. May bet late in that game. Just note that these two teams played in round 2, and Collingwood smashed them by 71 points. So it was at the MCG, but I just think Collingwood have definitely got the wood on them. And, if you like Collingwood, I'd bet. Port, I'd probably just hold fire and watch the game.
All right. Thanks, MG. Okay, let's go straight to the Cowboys and the Eels. The Cowboys, so what have we got? Saturday at 7:35. Cowboys $1.38. Parramatta $3.05. The line is 7.5, and the over under 47.5.
Eels, a couple of big suspensions. Michael Seaver suspended for 4 weeks. Reed Campbell Yard out at the same time. I think they're a bit shy for the Eels. They're pretty poor travellers. They've covered just 3 of their last 12 interstate. Cowboys, what has anything? They're flying at the moment. They've still got floored by the Tigers. They've been airborne. They've smashed some good sides as well. They've smashed the Bunnies. They've smashed the Storm. They're totally annihilated the Tigers. Couple of good spots from here. They've covered 13 of 18 when favourable more than a converted try. They've covered 10 of 13 off conceding 10 or fewer. I think the Cowboys will go down and get a day's lead.
All right, the Cowboys there. Thank you. All right, let's go straight to Melbourne and Adelaide. Sunday afternoon game, Melbourne $1.35, Adelaide $3.10. The line is 18.5, and the over-under 166.5.
Yeah, 2 teams heading in different directions just currently at the moment. Melbourne, good win last week. They're on 4th on the ladder. Adelaide have fallen out of the 8s at the moment, down to 12. So Melbourne have won 2 in a row. Adelaide have lost 2 in a row currently. Like Melbourne here, I think 18's probably about a goal short of where it should be. Maybe it hasn't moved at all at the moment. The market being very sold at 18, but yeah, I'm keen on Melbourne here. I think the key is the location at the MCG. Yeah. Melbourne in Victoria this year, 9-1, and Adelaide when they're outside of Adelaide are 1-6, and I think that's just carries too much weight. Adelaide at the MCG have lost their last 7 straight, so. Really keen on Melbourne here. I think the market will have to start going that way at some stage. I'm keen to back Melbourne at -18. The total probably going to stay out. I just think Melbourne, 8 out of their last 9 have gone under, whereas Adelaide are 11-6 on the over. So both teams play different styles. I think if Melbourne are going to win this game, they'll control it from the back half. So I'm keen on Melbourne to stay out of the total.
All right. Thanks, MG. Okay, we go straight to the Sharks and the Sea Eagles Sunday afternoon. Cronulla, $1.35. Manly is $3.20. The line is 8.5 and over under 46.5. Top rope.
Yeah, plenty of changes for the Sharks. A couple of injuries, but also notably some much needed sackings considering some very poor performances. So pleasing to say that. Most notably here, the Sharks against teams outside the top 8, 33 and 16 against the spread. They smash bottom half teams. They get beaten or don't perform to market expectations against top teams. Very easy side to read. Love that. Covered 4 or 5 at Shark Park. They've covered 27 of 43 as a favourite of 4 or more. Couple off for the Seagulls. Covered just 2 of their last 11 with no turbo. 3 of their last 11 on the road. It's an underdog 8 or more. Care on the Sharks here. I think they will do it pretty easily. Where to hold them.
Thank you. I'm happy to cheer the Sharkies here as well with you. Okay, let's go quickly through the last 5 NRL games. We have St George and the West Tigers. St George $1.63. The Tigers are $2.30. The line's 4.5 and the over under 44.5.
It's going to be next level sickness turning off the Open Championship to put on lasting on the second place. So keen the Dragons, very keen the Dragons. Actually, it's Wollongong's the key to this one. They've covered 9 of the last 12 Wollongong Dragons, 4 of the last 5 as a favourite at the ground. The Dragons have also covered 11 of 18 when favoured. The Tigers 5 of 15 of a double-digit loss. They've got plenty of dramas at the club at the moment. Happy to be with the Dragons.
All right, St George all the way. Let's go to the next game. So we've got New Zealand and Canberra. Hopefully this is a good one. The Warriors $1.40, Raiders $2.95. The line is 6.5 and the over under 42.5.
This is a great game. This is going to have a major bearing on the makeup of the top 4 here. Both teams fighting out for a spot at the moment. Playing the Warriors, big concern about the weather. It looks like weather's going to be diabolical, so 42.5 might be a good bet at the end of this. It'll be a slow side on that one, but certainly it's a heavy rain forecast. But hard to get past the Warriors here. They've covered 5 of their last 6 against the Raiders. They beat them only 6 weeks ago, 36-14 in Jared Crockett's 300. They hold form, offered good defensive show, covered 5 or 6 off conceding tall field, and they've covered 7 or 10 at Mount Smart. Raiders not the best team, covered just 3 of 9 in the state. With the Warriors, not a huge amount of confidence, but back in them. But the 2 worst performances of the year have come on very heavy tracks. So if the rains do come and there's a heavy track, I'd be probably staying in this one and backing them up.
Okay, so keep a watchful eye there. We go straight to the Titans and the Roosters. The Titans $2.25, the Roosters $1.65. I don't know how. And the line is 3.5 and the over under 46.5.
Yeah, I don't know how either, Nick. It makes 0 sense to me how this Roosters size in the state favourite for 3.5 points. But I don't know much about the Titans here. The Roosters have won 9 straight against the Titans. But I just can't have Chooks in their state favourite here. The Titans have covered 8 of their last 11 or scoring 24 plus, 7 of their last 11 as a home game, and 3 of the last 4 touchdowns to the Roosters have been decided by 6 points or fewer. Probably some value. Probably not taking the plus enough. Just take the Titans outright and hope for the best there.
All right, the Titans outright there for top rope. Let's go straight to the Knights and the Storm. The Knights are $3.30. The Storm is $1.33. The line's 8.5 over under 45.5.
I cannot believe the line has not done this. It is astonishing that the Knights are being shown such respect in the market. They are a bad team. They're a bad team at home, come to 7 of 19. They're a bad team at home as a big underdog, come to 3 of the last 9, getting more than that converted try. Storm won 11 straight against the Knights. They've covered 8 of 9. Their last 2 wins, 50-2, 48-4. They're the best interstate favourites from now. Close to the best interstate with the Rabbitohs. 29 of 13 spread of a win of 13 plus that whole form. I'm all over Melbourne. So I think Melbourne will win this by 30.
Ooh, by 30 there. Okay, pick your own line for top rope. All right, we go straight to Penrith and the Bulldogs. Penrith $1.01. The Bulldogs 15. The line is 28.5 over under 48.5.
Yeah, this is a go I'm really looking forward to. 28.5 line, biggest line of the season. Only the 6th time since 2008 that a line has been north of 28 points. The last 4 times have been the Panthers' favourite. They've covered 3 of them. Oh, the Dogs are conceding 44 points again. Right? Penrith really win this by as much as they want. Brought Cleary back. They got their origin players back. I think I'll cover. I think this line will start north of 30. I think I'll cover it. So, yeah, it's a dangerous game back in minus 28.5. Because if Penrith had the foot off the pedal, well then, you want to get a comfortable win. But yeah, I'd be leaning that way more than I want to be taking the Dogs plus.
Okay, thanks, Top Rope. All right, punters, GGOA. You can get that in the Little Birdie Live TV shop. Don't forget GGOA. All right, let's go straight to the last remaining AFL games, MG. All right, we've got Richmond and Hawthorn. Richmond $1.34, Hawthorn $3.10. The line is 18.5 over under 162.5.
Yes, this is my main bet for the week that I've found so far, Nikki. Keen on the Tigers here, minus 18.5. They've got a dominant record over the Hawks. They've won 7 of 9 the last 3 straight, and Hawthorn at the G have only covered 1 of their last 7 games. So Richmond have won 5 of their last 6. They're playing for finals. They need to win 5 of their last 6 games in the run home.
Oof.
They won't be dropping this one to Hawthorn. I think they'll get the job done comfortably.
Okay, the Tigers there for MG. Let's go straight to Carlton and West Coast. Why? Carlton $1.01, West Coast 15, line 65.5, over under 174.5. Holy moly.
Yeah, a bit like Toprope speaking on the NRL with the Penrith line. Geez, I've stayed out of West Coast most of the year. I think it's going to continue. I think the line's high again, but again, Carlton can do what they like. West Coast don't try when they're on the road. They don't really try when they're at home either. The stats are they've lost 37 of their last 41. They've lost 15 on the road. They've lost 4 by 50 plus this year and stuff like that. Carlton's found form, soft part of the draw for sure. They obviously did beat Port, who I don't think tried too hard last week, but they've won their last 4 games all by over 50 points. So if you like the Blues, they do have Mackay out, but yeah, they can win this whatever they like, and I will not be partaking.
Oosh, that is just turn off and don't watch. Okay, we go straight to Brisbane and Geelong. Brisbane $1.47, Geelong $2.60. The line 13.5 over under 174.5. Yes,
this one will be a cracker. 3rd v 5th. Both in very good form. Brisbane have won 4 of the last 5. Geelong have won 3.5 straight. The Gabba record stands out for Brisbane here. They've won their last 9 straight there. Geelong do have a dominant record over Brisbane. They've won 13-4 in the head-to-head battle, and of the last 5 games they've played up there, they've won 3 of them. So they don't fear going to the Gabba. They're one of the few sides that don't. So this will be a cracking contest. I actually do shade Geelong here at the plus for that reason.
Okay.
I think it'll be a highly entertaining game. There'll be plenty of points scored. Total's too high for me to get into, but yeah, I think this will be one worth watching.
All right. I am going to tune into that one then for you. Let's go straight to the Dockers and the Swans. Fremantle $2.10, Sydney $1.68. The line 4.5 over under 165.5.
It's up and down in the AFL this week. This is not a good game. 15th v 14th, both these sides, their seasons are done and dusted, 6 weeks out. They're in terrible form. Freo, probably the worst of it. They've lost 3 straight. Look like they may have chucked in the towel for the year. So all the money is for Sydney. Freo actually started 1.5 point favourite in this game, and now it's gone to Sydney -4. So the punters look like they're all over the Swans, who did beat the Bulldogs by 2 points last week. So it is a tough road trip going to Perth. They won't get my money at that price, but Sydney have got a pretty dominant record of 10-6 against Freo head-to-head. But yeah, I will just be watching this one.
Okay, thanks, MG. Now we go straight to GWS and Gold Coast. GWS $1.55, the Gold Coast $2.45. The line is 8.5 over under 166.5. Sorry.
Yeah, the two newest teams in the comp looking to play finals here. GWS have won their last 5. They're one of the most informed sides under the top 2 of Port and Collingwood in the comp. They've certainly turned their season around. They need to virtually win out to make finals. I don't have them doing that. They've got too tough a draw, but I don't think they'll drop to the Gold Coast in this one. They have a dominant record head-to-head. They're 10-1 against the Gold Coast, and interestingly enough, the favourites in this battle of 14-1. So I'm going to stick with the Giants. There is money for the Gold Coast. They've come down 3 points in the betting from 11 to 8. So the money is for Gold Coast. I'm going to wait late in this game, and if there's any more movement, I will be on the GWS for that reason.
Okay. Late watch, follow the stings there. Let's go to the Saints in North Melbourne. Why? St Kilda $1.17, North Melbourne $4.90. That line is 33.5 and over under 162.5.
It's one game in, one game out this round. 6 v 17. They're ordinary sides. St Kilda's the worst side in the top 8. They've lost 4 of their last 5. I don't think they'll be playing finals this year. I think they look pretty tired at the moment. Just lucky their draw in the next 2 weeks. They do come up against Kangaroos and then Hawthorn. So they have a chance to turn around their season. Kangaroos are just completely chucked in the towel. Lost 15 straight. Can't be with them. All the money is for St Kilda. Open 28.5 now to 33.5. Too big for me, but it just looks like one-way traffic here. So I'd suggest the punters, if you're going to back St Kilda, get on now because I don't think the line's going to be turned around. If you like the Kangaroos at the big line, I would wait late. The total is creeping down, and I think that's probably the better way to play if you're closing out your Sunday. 165 down to 162. I think this will be a low-scoring scrap, especially on the Kangaroos side of it. So the play for me would be the under in this game.
Thanks, MG. Okay, punters, you need the AFL stings, and you can get that from $25 a week in the Little Birdie TV shop. He always sends out tips. He's always got them. Get the AFL stings. All right, that is a wrap for this week. Thanks for having me for this Thursday on your Thursday Line show. Follow us on YouTube. Download our podcast everywhere you get your good podcasts from. Apple Store, Spotify, SoundCloud. Follow Little Birdie TV. We are on Insta and Twitter. Remember, all your footy betting is at topsport.com.au. Join us next week. Hopefully I'll be around. Punt well, punt responsibly, and have a great weekend. Thank you.